tonight, Aurora is facing a major decline in sales tax revenue from weed. The city uses that money to fund programs addressing homelessness and poverty. Well, the City Council just voted to approve future funding at levels that'll be lower than they were this year. Some are proposing to use other sources to keep those programs afloat. As Denver 7's Rob Harris explains, these nonprofits are now bracing for even more budget cuts at a time when they need the money the most.
As marijuana sales drop by double digits in Colorado, nonprofits are bracing for the downstream impact.
It's not a good boat to be in. We feel like we're in the lifeboats from the Titanic.
Sungate Kids is one of the organizations that's relied on funding from the city of Aurora to offer its services at no cost. Executive Director Diana Goldberg says they're already doing more with less as the need grows.
Our funding from Aurora has gone from about 15% of our budget to 1% of our budget. And since the pandemic, our caseload has gotten much more complex.
Now, Sungate Kids is bracing for more funding cuts as marijuana sales taxes in Aurora drop off and the city's budget shrinks as a result.
Oh, man. What it means for us is that eventually we'll have to cut services, and that has such a ripple effect on the community.
Sungate Kids is hardly alone. City of Aurora tells us it's received 25 applications for funding, adding up to nearly $5.3 million requested. But with COVID funds drying up, and now with this decline in marijuana sales tax, the city tells us it has less than $2 million to offer. There are calls for city leaders to find money in other parts of the budget to shrink the gap.
I'm not supportive of that.
But Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky says that as city revenue decreases, organizations need to ramp up their own fundraising to close the gap.
Nothing should just be a guarantee when it comes to, government funds. These organizations, these nonprofits, they should be fundraising. They should be fundraising on their own, gathering their own donor base, and not just dependent on the money from the city.
Goldberg says if they're forced to make cuts in their services, it'll cost the community even more in the long run.
It's going to affect the economic viability of the city, and poverty is generational. My message is you need to invest in the future of the city of Aurora, and the services that we provide are an investment in that future.
For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
The City Council says they'll likely revisit that issue again in the future.